Hello guys, welcome to Data Crafting Lab. Trust you are able to learn one or two things in my previous lesson. I really appreciate you all. In this lesson, we'll be discussing. Hello, welcome back. In this lesson, we are going to be discussing Power Pivot in Excel. Now, what is Power Pivot? Power Pivot allows you to analyze data and also get insight from your data. In this video, I'm going to make this as simple as possible. You can be wondering what is the difference between pivot table and power pivot. Pivot table actually summarizes a bulk data into a simple and presentable form, while power pivot is even more powerful. You can analyze data across multiple tables with a standard pivot tables. With power pivot, you can analyze massive quantities of data. Now let's start. Now if you look at my own tab here, I have my power pivot already. Now if you don't have your power pivot, now let me show you how to just add this power pivot to your home tab. Now you click on file. When you click on file, you click on option. Now when you click on option, you will see what? Add-ins here. You see customize, ease of access and others. Now just click on these add-ins. When you click on add-ins now, you come down here straight. Now click here, you see come add-ins, you click on it. Now go, click on this go. Now you can see it now, Microsoft Power Pivot for Excel. My own is already checked. If this box is not checked, you can just check this and click on OK. It's already checked because I already have it on my home tab. So you just click on OK. So that's how to add Power Pivot button to your to your home tab. Now if I click on this my power pivot now, can you see we have manage, measure, KPI, add data model, detect and setting. Now we'll be taking all these things one after the other. Just observe. Now let's start with the data model now. I'll click on this manage now to bring in my data that I actually want to work on. Now I'll click on manage. Once I click on manage now, let's wait for it to pop up. Now you can see a very wide screen. Now you can actually take a data from database, maybe from SQL Server, Access, from analysis, service or power pivot. You can also get your data from here also, actually add data from here also, from data service or from other sources, existing connections and so on. Now I'll be getting my data using from other services now. Now you can see it now. These are other services you can actually get your data from. We have Microsoft SQL Server, Microsoft SQL Azure and all that. Now let me scroll down now. The file I actually want to get is an Excel file. I'll click on Excel file. Now you can see me, it's asking me Excel file path. Now I'll just click on browse. Click on browse. Now I will come here now. If I scroll down, these are the list of. I'll scroll down. I'll be bringing my customer. It's one of the data I actually want to use. I'll click on open. Now I won't touch this advanced and test connection because I don't have anything to do with it. I'll actually just check for this first row as header. Now click on next. Now you can check probably for in the preview, or probably if you want to filter, you can see this is the data I actually want to work on. Click on OK. Now I'll just click on finish once I'm done with that. Now I'm done with this. I can just close. Now I'll come back here again from other sources, click on it. Now I will scroll down. I want to get my second data that I actually want to work on. Click on Excel file, click on next. Now I'll browse again. I will scroll down. Now this is the second one I actually want to work on. Open. Now use first row as header, the same way I did the first one. Click on next. Now I'll just check for this since it's the one I actually want to use. Now if you want to check preview like I did the other time, this is it. You can scroll down just to play around it. Click on OK once you are done and click on finish. Now click on close. Now it has actually been added. Let me add the last one we are actually working with. Now I'll show you another way you can use to add your data. Now this stored data I'll be bringing in now, I won't use this from other source again. I can just click on this sheet. Now this is where I have my stored data. Just click on it, shift control arrow down. Now control C, copy. Now I'll just come here. This is where I have my this was the sheet I was actually working on, and control V, I'll just paste. Now let me increase the cell length. Now I'll just highlight. Let me highlight my data now. I'll just highlight, bring my cursor here, shift control arrow down, arrow right. Once I'm done highlighting, I'll click on add data. Now let's wait for it now. You can see now the third data has actually been be added. Let me just rename this as what? Let me say cookie. Let me say cookie types. Cookie types. Let me click on enter. Now I'm done with that. You can see now I've successfully brought all my data into what? Data model. This is the first one. You can see it now. This is the second one. This is the second one. You've seen it. And this is the third one. You've seen it now. One of the benefits of using Power Pivot is not only you can look across multiple tables, but you can also define relationship between your tables. Now let me show you a scenario. If I click on this customer sheet now, sorry, let me take it back. Okay. Now let me click on this customer sheet now. You can see we have order ID. Now, sorry, customer ID now. Now this customer ID, it has name, phone number, address, city, state, zip, country, and note. Now if I click on this what? Order too. Now I've clicked on order. Now look at it now. It also has what? Customer ID. It has customer ID, product, unit sold, order ID, and so on. Now Excel doesn't see it as a relationship, but there is a relationship between this what? Order ID and this what? This customer ID. Now what I will be doing now is that I want to do what? I want to define the relationship between this what? Customer, order, and what? Cookie types now. Now to define this relationship, this data is already in what? All this information, they are already in what? Data view. I'll just click on, it's already on home tab. Now I'll click on this what? This diagram view. Now once I click on this diagram view now, it will show it out in a what? In a table format. Now can you see now? This is all of my data now. Can you see this? These are the things we have now. The headings we actually have under the what? The customer sheet. Now for the order, this is it. Let me just pull it down a bit. You can see, and for the cookie type also. So I can just, if I click on it actually now, I can use my cursor to move it around. Let me click on this. You can see I can use my cursor to move it around. Same thing applicable to this. I'm not changing the name. I just want to use my cursor to move it around. Now let me do the same thing for the what? The cookie type also. Now let me drag this order a bit. Can you see it now? Now this is the diagram view. Now let me establish the relationship between them now. Let me just draw it down a bit and draw this down a bit. Now if you look at this now, we have customer ID here, we also have customer ID here. I can drag this customer ID to this, drag this line to this now. Now let's just wait for it. Now you can see now, this indicates that you cannot create a relationship between order ID, customer ID, and because a relationship already exists between this column. Okay. Now, this, if you look at it now, this one, it means that what? One relationship here to what? To many here. One relationship from this to many here. Now, one customer can have many other IDs. Now, that's what this actually indicates now. If you look at this place now, what do we have that is what? That is common. That means which relationship do they actually have that is in common now. This also this has what? This table has what? Cookie type, and this has what? Product. Now it's the cookie type now, it's just like talking about the product, and this also has product. Now I can just bring this to this now. Now I'll just drag this product now, click on it, I'll drag it to what? To cookie type. Can you see now? Cannot create. Okay. Now, so that's many relationship to one here also. Now let's continue. Now, for instance, I made a convention that I don't actually what? Want to use. Now I can just click on this line, I'll right click. If I right click now, if I click on this delete, now it will actually what? Delete this what? This connection. Now because I'm not what? I'm not deleting this, I'll just what? Undo that. Now, so that's that. If I actually make a what? A connection that is not actually right, and you want to change it, you can just click on this line and actually what? Delete it permanently and what? Make the right connection. Now let's go back to this what? This data view. I'll just go back here. Now I actually want to know the what? The total profit they actually make on this order now. Now I want to know the what? Revenue they make per what? Per order. Now the cost, and also what? The total profit. Now let's take them one after the other. I'll just take a what? A measure on this what? On this orders. Now if you look at this now, I don't have any what? Any column for revenue or cost for what? For the cookie. Now but if I click on this what? This sheet now, now I actually have revenue per cookie, cost per cookie. Now if I come back here, I can use that relationship to actually what? Calculate for the what? For the revenue, for the cost, and for the what? Total profit. Now I'll create a column now. This will be for what? Revenue, revenue. Now let me click it on enter. I'll create another column again. Now it's loading. Now I'll create another column again. Let me click on this, create another add column. Now let me just say this as cost. Click it on enter. Now let it load finish. It's actually loading. It's updating. Now for the last column now, I'll just what? I'll just name this as what? As profit. Profit. Now hit on enter. Now since I've created my column now, I will calculate the revenue, the cost, and what? And the profit. Now I'm going to type my what? My formula here now. Now equals to, that's the first thing. I'll be using related. Now related. Now since and once I use this related now, this related now, it will return related value from another table. Now you know we have what? Revenue on the what? On this cookie type sheet now. I'll just come here. Now I'll use what? cookie type revenue cookie type revenue what per cookie. Click on it now. I'll close parenthesis. Now shift 8 to multiply. What? Multiplying it by what? Units sold. Units sold. This is it. I'll double click on it. Now I will hit on enter. It will automatically calculate for the rest. Let's wait for it. Now you can see it now. It has automatically calculated for the rest. Now based on the what? Relationship that actually exists between those what? Those tables. Now let's do the same thing for the cost now. Equals to now related. I'll click on it. Now this time around I'm calculating for cost. Now I'll be using the what? Cost per cookie, not revenue this time around. I'll double click on it. Now close parenthesis, shift 8 to multiply. Now by what? What am I multiplying it with? The cost that actually what incurred multiplied by the what? The units sold. Now I'll double click on it and I will hit on enter. Let's wait for it. It will automatically calculate it for everything. Let me just press escape so that it can be fast. I don't know why it's actually loading. You can see now it has actually what? Calculate the what? The cost they actually incurred. Now to calculate for the profit now, that was very easy. Now since I have my revenue and I have my cost, that's equals to now revenue. I'll just now revenue, I'll hit on it. Now minus cost. Can you see it? Minus cost. I'll hit on it and I'll click on what? Enter. Now let's wait for it. It's actually loading. Let me hit on escape so that it can be fast. It's calculating it. Now you can see it now. It has actually calculated the what? The profit, the cost, and the what? And the revenue for everything. Now, what if I want to calculate how many customers do we have? What is total profit we have? And also average profit per customers. Now I'll be using some measures to calculate those things. Now let's see how it goes. Now let me jump to where we have what? My Excel sheet now. I will be coming back to the what? To the Power Pivot. Now this is it. Now where I actually paste my last data. Now if I click on it now, you can see now we'll be using this measure to calculate those things I actually made mention of. Now I'll click on new measure. Once I click on new measure, now this is the table name, measure name, description, and what? The formula I actually want to apply to it. Now what's the table name I actually want to use? Now you can see I have what? Customers, order, and cookie types. Now let me leave it on this customer table now. Now what's the measure name? Now I want to get the total number of customers. Now I can just clean this, put it as total number of customers. Now since the measure name actually what talks about the description, I can just leave the description. Now I will just come here. Now I will bring out my formula. Since I want to get for the what? The total numbers of customers, I can just use the distinct count. Now you can see we have the distinct and we have the distinct count. Now if you see the distinct count, it counts the number of distinct value in a column. Now I actually want to what? To count. Now I want to, okay, these are my what field I actually have in all of them. Now I actually want to count the what? The total number of customer. I can just, what will I use? I can just use this customer ID now to count them, close parenthesis. Now I can just check if my formula is actually right or wrong. Now check formula. You can see no error. Now I don't want now no error. I can just click on number. Now I want it in figure. That's what I actually mean. Now did I want decimal number? No. Now I'll just hit on what? Hit on OK. Now to see this measure I actually take now, I'll just go back to the what? Power pivot and click on it now. Now if I click on the power pivot now, let's wait for it. It's actually loading. Now it has actually taken me to the what? The order ID. Now let me increase this. Or let me come back to this customer. Okay, it's fine. It actually appears here. Let me increase this a bit. Let me still increase this a bit. Now you can see now this is total numbers of the customers we actually have. Now using the what? Order ID to determine it. You can see it now. So if I click on this now, the formula I actually use actually pops up here. Total number for customer, that's distance count into bracket of what? Customer's ID, and which I actually get the what? The correct answer. Now the next thing I'll be calculating is for the what? The total profit. Now I can just click here. Now let me calculate it there. Now I will just come to this what? Formula bar now. Equals to, I'll hit on what? Equals to. Now sum. I'll be using the formulas in Excel. Now sum, if I click on sum now, what do I actually want to sum? Now I want to sum up the what? The profit. Let me just scroll down. Now you can see these are our profit. I'll hit on it. Now I'll just close the parentheses and I'll hit on enter. Let's wait for it. Is actually loading. Let me click escape so that it can actually fast. You can see now this is our what? Our profit. Now to get the total profit now, where we have this measure 1 now, I can just change it from measure 1 to what? To total profit. Total profit. And I'll just hit on enter. Can you see? Can you see it now? So this is our total profit now. Now I can just hit on this dollar sign or any currency you actually want to use. So it's fine. So it will automatically what? Indicate here now. Now with these with these two measures I've actually made now. Now I will just come here. Now to get the average what? Average profit per customers. Now I'll use these two measures I've actually what? Gotten now. Equals to now total profit. I'll hit on it. Now divided by total number of customer. Now I'll just hit on enter. Let's wait for it. Let me click on escape. Now where we have this measure 1 now, I can just rename this as, I can just rename this measure, bring my cursor here, delete this and change it to what? Average profit per customer. And I'll hit on enter. Can you see it now? it will automatically what change now from what measure one to what average profit per customer. This is what profit they actually made on what on each customer. Now I'll just come here, hit on this dollar sign, I'll click on this. Now let me just increase the cell length. Let me drag it a bit so that we can actually see what we have actually done. You can see it now. This is total profit, this average profit per customer, and this is total number of profits. Now I've actually taken my what my measures now. So once I'm done with that, I can just close this power pivot. I want to visualize this data in different ways. Now it will be very meaningful to use what a pivot table to do that. Now I will just come back, click on it, click on insert. Once I click on insert, I will see a what a pivot table. Now I will click on this pivot table. Now it's asking me now do I want to what select a table or range? I'm not selecting a table or range. I'll be using what use this what workbook that in data model. Now I'll click on this. Now did I want it on a new sheet or existing sheet? I want it on a new sheet, and I'll hit on OK. Now let's wait for it. Our pivot table has actually popped up. Now I can just drag this here. Now let me drag down. Let me just drag down so that we can see it very well. Let me expand a bit. Okay, I think we are fine. Now if I just click here, now can you see it now? Let me just scroll down a bit. Now it has actually connected the three tables together. This is the cookie types, this is the what customer, and this is also the what the other the others. You can see it now. Now let me close this back. Let me collapse this. You can see it, the name, everything. We also customer ID and all that, the phone number, the address. Now let me collapse this back again. Same thing applicable to the order. So that's one of the benefits of what power pivot. Now for the customer, now I can just click on this. Let me click on the customer. Now for the customer, I'll bring out the name. I'll place it on the row. Now and for the let me just collapse this back. Now for the order, what should I take there? Now I'll take the order ID. I want to know how many orders those customers actually placed. I'll place it here. Now you can see it now. Now to know the numbers of customers, I can just click here, click on value field setting. Now let me just change this to what count instead of sum, and I'll hit on OK. Can you see now? ABC Groceries actually placed what 132 orders, 200 ACME Bytes 206, and so on and so forth. Now I can just let me click on it so that I can just collapse this order. Now I'll just scroll up. Now for instance, I want to see the total profits now. I'll just come back here. Now since I just take those previous measures that I took, I'll just scroll down. I will check for my total profit. Let me scroll down. Now you can see it now. These are the measures I actually took earlier. Total numbers of customers, total profit. Now I will just bring this total profit now. I'll just bring it here on the value. Now you can see it now. This is the total profit I actually made from each of all these customers. This is for ABC Groceries and all that, and this is the total. Now let's say for instance I want to set some KPI to actually know whether this profit I actually made from all these customers actually meet up with my target and goal. Now to create this KPI now, I'll click on Power Pivot. Once I click on the Power Pivot, I'll click on KPI. I'll click on New KPI. Now can you see it now? Now I'll work with this now. Now I'll just, you can see now, key performance indicator based on what? Base field value. Now what KPI did I actually want to use? These are the values these are the measures I actually took earlier. I'll just take for what? The total profit. That's what I actually want to work on. Now the measure, I won't be taking any measure here. I'll be using absolute value. Now the absolute value, what absolute value do I actually want to use? I can just say, let me set a profit target of, let's say, 600,000. 600,000. Now the least profit we have here was 302,000. Let me set it as 300,000. Now to make the what? The sales representative actually work better, I can just drag this. Let me put it like around, let's say, 400,000 for red, and for the green, let me drag it, let me put it around 600,000 for green. Now I'll just select one of this icon. I can just select this, or if I choose, I can choose this. Now for the description, I'm fine with this. I'll just hit on OK. Now you can see now for the total profits, I'm just having 0, 1, 2 and so on. Now I'll just come back here, click on it, scroll down to where I have the total profit. Now for the total profit, I'll just collapse it here. Now I'll just uncheck this. Now I will now hit on it back again, and I'll check this. You can see now this was actually the symbols I actually took earlier. Can you see it now? Based on the, I can just, okay, I can just check for the goal now. Now what was my target? You can see now 600,000. Now this actually meet up with the target, is beyond the target. That we have 600,000, and is we have what? Over 800,000 here. And this was what? Was very low. I can just talk to the sales team, or the sales representative, to actually work up and meet up with the target. You can see it now. This how to make use of the KPI, key performance indicator, and the measures, also the data model and all that. Now for instance, now I want to I want to click, I want to show this this analysis of this of the summary of the pivot table on a chart. Now I can just come here, click on pivot table analyze. Once I click on it now, I can just close this. I'm not using this any longer. Now just drag, click on pivot chart. Now if I click on this pivot chart, now I can just use any chart I actually want to use. Let me try a bar chart. Now I'll just hit on OK. Now this is the pie chart. Now it actually pops up. Now for instance, now I want to know the I just want to I want to know the largest, the smallest and the lowest. I can just bring my cursor here on this total profit. I'll right click. Once I right click, I'll click on sort. Now is either if you want it to sort from smallest to the largest. If you want it to sort from largest to the smallest, if I hit on largest to the smallest, now can you see it now? Now if you want to just do some touches on your on your chart, I can just come here, click on format. Now once you click on format, now you can see, click on shape fill. You can just play around it. Any color you actually like, you can just choose it. Now for the value, you can just click here, come to home, click on it. Now this you can just change it to probably to, let's say, the background to, let's say, navy blue. Click here, choose white. Now probably bold it, increase the cell length, Now you can just increase the size of the chart a bit. You can see it. Now for this count of orders, just change the background and bold it. Same thing applicable to all these values. If you want to touch it also, so anything you actually want to do. And if you want to actually label this, you can just click here. Now data label, you can see it now. So chart and chart title, if you don't want it, you can just uncheck that, and if you want it, so you actually just play around it and do whatever you actually want to do. So that's that. Another thing is we can just insert a slicer. Now, for instance, let's click here. Let's click on insert. Now, just insert a slicer. Let me close it. Click somewhere here, insert a slicer. Now, you can insert a slicer based on probably the customer order or the cookie type. Now, let's click on all. Now, probably the cookie type. Now, these are the products. Just hit on OK. Can you see now? Now, can just click here. Now, I can just use my slicers to determine the what? The report. Now, click here now. You can see now. This actually talks about the what? Chocolate chips. You can see we actually have what? Red for it all. So definitely they don't have what? They don't really make profit for the what? These chocolate chips. Now, if I click on fortune cookies now, can you see it now? If I click on oatmeal, can you see it? If I click on this, if I click on sugar, if I click on this, now if I want to click on the two at a go, now I'll just click on it, hold my control, click on it again. You can see it now. If I want to click on another one again, hold my control, click on it. Can you see it? If I want another one, I'll just click on it, hold my control. And if you want to return it to the previous stage, you just uncheck this and it should actually return it to the what? To the previous stage. Thank you so much. I believe you are able to learn one or two things in this lesson. We'll discuss how you can make use of slicer on it. Also, how to use a key performance indicator, that's KPI, use measures, visualizing your data, using pivot table, and also a data model. Thank you. See you in the next lesson. Bye for now.
Just to help you to learn one or two things in this lesson, I really appreciate you. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel at Data Crafting Lab. Click on the notification bell. When I drop a new video, you get notified. Okay. Give us a thumb up when you like any of our videos. If you want us to work on any of the videos for you, kindly drop that in the comment section. See you in the next lesson. Bye for now.